Fish on. There we go. Oh, that's a nice fish. Nice bass right there. Nice fish. Nice fish. That's a nice fish right there. There we go. Nice fish. Easy, buddy, easy, easy, easy. Easy, easy. There we go. It's a nice fish right there. Pretty bass. Caught that here on Sibley Pond here in Maine. I'm try to get a weight on this. See what this thing weighs. Nice fish. Two pounds. A nice 2-pound bass right there. That is a beauty fish. Like that one. Get this back here in the water. A nice 2-pound fish right there. Well, let's get this bass back in the water. Let this thing go. That is one pretty fish right there. Off and gone. Nice. Here we go. Put fish on. There we go. Little bass right there. Caught this here on the Penobscot River. Here in Old Town, Maine. Nice little bass. Get that back in the water. Fish on. Here we go. Nice fish right there. Nice fish, guys. Nice. Nice little bass right there. Awesome. Nice. Got that here on the Penobscot River today. Here in Old Town, Maine. Pretty fish right there. Get that back in the water. Awesome. Fish on. There we go. There we go. Easy, buddy, easy. There's a bass right there. Easy, buddy, easy. Easy, easy, easy. You good, you good, you good. Here we go. That's a nice little bass right there. Nice. Pretty bass right there. Nice color to it. Get this back in the water. Caught that right here on Graham Lake here in the state of Maine. Get this back in the water and let that go. Pretty bass. Go. Fish on. Feels like a nice fish. That's a nice fish. Looks like a bass right there. Nice fish. Come on. Yeah. That's a pretty fish right there, guys. That is a pretty bass. Nice fish. Come on. Oh, come on, buddy. Come on. Get you in here. That right there is a nice bass right there. That right there is a pretty fish. Beauty. I tickled with that one. That is a nice looking fish. That hook out. Let's look that over. That is a pretty looking bass right there. That is a beauty fish. Glad you guys got to see that. Caught that here on Graham Lake here in the state of Maine. Beauty fish. Got a 2-pound, 14-ounce bass right there. Pretty bass. That's a beauty. Nice looking fish. Well, let's get this fish back in the water. That is one pretty bass right there. Glad you guys got to see that. Nice looking fish. Get this back out there and going. Off and gone. Beautiful fish. Glad you guys got to see that. Fish on. Got here. There we go. Nice little bass right there. Nice little bass. It's a good little fish. We'll take it. Easy, buddy. Easy, easy. Easy, easy, easy. Easy. Nice little bass right there. Get that back in the water. Caught that here on the Penobscot River today. In the state of Maine. Fish on. We got here. It's a nice bass right there. Nice bass. Pretty bass right there. There we go. Got this on the Penobscot River, guys, here in Maine. Pretty fish right there. Nice. It's a nice fish. Try to that hook out there. Give me just a second. There we go. Hold on. Get around that other one. There we go. Right there. There we go. Nice looking bass right there. Glad you guys get to see that. We'll get that back in the water. Got that here on the Penobscot River, here in the state of Maine. Here we go. Fish on. Ooh, nice jump. Another jump. It's a good little bass right there. Nice bass. Nice. Whew. Another one here on the Penobscot River, here in Maine. Small bass. Pretty though. We'll take it. Get that back in the water.